Hi everyone, I'm Quaidal Dakara, also known as Sarah, and I'm here in Darlington today protesting against the disability benefit cuts. We've had several different speakers today all talking about the reality of being disabled and how it impacts us. PIP is not an employment benefit. It is not going to help with employment. There are different stigma that we need to target there and re-educate people about the realities and differences of different disabilities. We are hearing from carers and people who are actually disabled. We're hearing about their struggles to make ends meet, even with the PIP benefits, and how the NHS system is letting us down. It's so good to see everybody rallied here today, using our voice to action positive change and speak up against cuts. Thank you for watching. I'm still collecting them at this point. Basically, PIP is not an employment benefit. None of what they've said makes any logical sense. I have been looking for part-time work for 3 years. I have a dynamic disability, so I have the joy of people coming to me with X-ray eyes telling me that I don't have a 10.9mm gap in my pelvis. I have the joy of people telling me you looked fine in this event. You can't be disabled. I'm a chronic pain warrior, and what I do, you would have lost 2 seconds in my shoes. And I speak for those who can't be here today as an independent disability advocate. I'm also an author collecting stories of the disabled to educate the masses. My book will be published on Amazon for free when I've collected enough stories. So if you're interested in that, just come and talk to me. I'll get your details and we'll put that up so people can read about the realities of disability. Because at the moment, nobody has a clue what it's like to be in our shoes. They're uneducated, they don't understand the differences of disabilities and how they impact people differently, and we need to change that. Even if it is having speakers go around in schools to start off with and say, look, disability is normality. We are warriors and we are people too with human rights too, and we matter, and I do a lot of unpaid charity work. So yeah, I might be on benefits and I might not have a paid job, but I advocate for women and children, men's mental health and safeguarding, and I stand on that. Thank you.
Right, I didn't try to speak, so you have to forgive me just a little bit incoherent. My name is Jerry. I am neurodivergent. I'm not disabled capacity because frankly I'm sick and tired of airing my embarrassments for these bastards.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
I think often we are expected to air really quite traumatizing, quite personal stories for benefit of the best of them, the standard and worst of them care about what's happening to disabled people. And I'm not saying that people should not do that, I'm not saying this should not do that today. But frankly, I'm kind of sick of begging these people, and I want us to start making answers.
What rights, not charity?
Survive! That's all we do instead of thrive.
Well, precisely. So I've been developing a bit of an idea about the current approach to the current turn against disabled rights in the United Kingdom. And I believe it goes beyond the Labour Party. Before the last election, Rishi Sunak said, and I might be misquoting him, but I don't particularly care, that the stresses of everyday life were being pathologised. Now, I don't really know what he considers the stresses of everyday life to be with his amount of wealth. But right now, as I see it, the Conservatives' only problem with the Labour Party's welfare reform is that they don't trust them to deliver. There's no ideological water between them. And the same with those fascist symbol. Now, this also goes for the press, who have at every turn taken the opportunity to disparage the very existence of neurodivergent conditions. I remember an article from, I believe it was last year, written by Matthew Harris, claiming that ADHD does not exist. I just got my diagnosis the other day, well, the other week, and let me tell you, it very much does. It is not something that trendy teenagers on TikTok made up. And to be honest, if people want to talk about their ADHD on TikTok, I say let them. It's not Matthew Harris's business.
Yeah.
But as I see it, this is the consequence or the result of two things. Sorry about this. So, we have endured a global pandemic, a mass disabling event. Hundreds of thousands died in the United Kingdom, many more were left permanently disabled. And as I've touched on, more and more people are identifying themselves as neurodivergent, autistic, ADHD, dyslexic. You'll know both sides. But this is changing people's relationship to work and labour. It means that people are making demands of their bosses. And what I believe is happening, and this is just a theory, I need to substantiate it, this is an ideological effort to reimpose pre-existing conditions of labour upon disabled people and the broader working class. It is to say, you do not get to dictate the terms of your own health. You don't get to say whether you're sick or not. Ignore your aching bones. Ignore your frayed senses. We dictate how well you are.
Yes, yeah. It's the tick box again, isn't it?
It is capital reimposing itself upon labour. It doesn't matter whether that labour actually works or not, or can work or not.
We live it, not them.
Precisely. And frankly, I think it shows that, and this is my personal view, I do not prescribe it to everyone else, but I think it shows that the Labour Party is no longer an ally, it is an enemy.
Agreed.
Yes, I would agree with you. I couldn't feel
If it was ever a party of past days gone, it's like an ant infected with cordyceps, or like those zombies from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Now I don't know where that leaves us. I don't know where he is, but I am very glad that Matthew Snecker is here today. So I'll probably vote for the Greens, but it's not quite the workers' revolution. So where was I going with this? I'll keep no, it is an attempt to sort of reimpose itself upon Labour. Well, we're not cowards, we don't just have to beg. Obviously, it's good that we're here today. Our comrades are rallying in cities like Newcastle. And of course, we need to make ourselves known to Lola McAvoy. There is, as I understand it, she is opening consultations to meet with people with experience with the benefit system. I don't expect much from it, but I think it will be worth people are sort of able to showing up and voicing their grievances. I think it's worth emailing her so that she at least knows that people are scared and angry and it will affect how they vote.
Yeah, do it.
And I think it would also bear in mind that, again, as I said, we're not helpless. In 1990, in the United States, disabled people blocked the paths to the Capitol building in order to demand concessions from Congress. That resulted in the Americans with Disabilities Act. God knows how long that's going to take. Yeah, I wonder if how many revolutionaries had to deal with this. Not that I'm a revolutionary, I'm actually people.
They had it easy.
Not that I'm anything.
Yeah, good.
But, yeah, that's to say my point. We are absolutely not cowards. We can demand concessions from these bastards. And that's basically it. I'm already a cleaner at work. I claim the NHS that this will render me poor. I can't work anywhere else. Who's going to feed her? Who's going to look after her? Who's going to do any of this stuff? You take on these responsibilities when you love someone. And the government is running it. Fuck us over.
I think the subject, it's very emotional. I might not be able to finish it, but here it is. So, I became disabled a few years ago when I reached autistic burnout, and that should remind you that because we're all very, it takes very little to become a disabled person. Like everybody can be disabled, and they might not think that they will have out then, but cannot. So I'm very concerned about the current narrative around people on benefits being fraudsters. It's a narrative that is not backed by that data. It's only 2.02% of disability claims are fraudulent. And fraud includes also mistakes in filling up forms. I see many people who are now coming out and saying we have too lax with assessments without having any experience of a risk assessment. That's why I would like to share a story of mine. So I received an appointment letter for an assessment in Scotland, which is not in Darlington. I struggled to reach the house most days, having to recall 2 hours from doing something as simple as going to pick up my child or coming to a demo. I also struggle with public transport because I'm very sensitive to smell and I don't do well with managing time. However, I felt I had no choice. The assessment was at 12, but I knew if I went back home after dropping my child off at school, it would be too difficult for me to face another 20 minutes to the outdoors. So I dropped him off and went straight for the bus. It was snowing, so I reached Stockton and wandered around minor lectures at the playground around the library and waited there. Gold, by the way, is one of the worst tests that he has for me, so probably action pain. I reached the location of the assessment and I told the nurse I was quite stressed. She said that I said it with a smile because I'm good at masking, and she was very dismissive. She said, "Oh, I've seen worse," with a very skeptical look as I was trying to pretend I was as if she thought that I was pretending that I was struggling, and my stress levels already started. Once the assessment started, she asked a lot of questions. She asked about my mental health, so I told her I was sick. To that, she admonished me, saying I should not burden her with my problems, as we all have them. My stress levels increased again. Then she started to question my statement that I struggled with public transport because I made it there. Getting there was horrendous for me, and she was trying to use it against me. That was the straw that drove the camera back. I had a full-blown 40-minute meltdown, and for those who haven't seen one, I started screaming and crying and rolling on the floor. The nurse was looking terrified. She called the ambulance, the police, and her manager, and she refused to let me go for a long time after the meltdown was done because she couldn't take the responsibility of letting me go. Her manager must have warned her of the legal consequences the situation might have. My assessment was considered null, and then later on I was offered to they had a completely different attitude. I urge those people to realize I don't come out of lottery. Now people see me outside when I'm having a good day and will easily assume that I'm taking my disability. I urge those people to realize that I don't come out of the house when I'm not well and having a full meltdown today. My friends know that my reality, reliable plans with me in advance. It all depends on how I'm doing on the day. Scapegoating ways to feel consent around measures that are inhumane with an age number. So I think it's important people realize how much stress this is causing for people with a disability, especially those of us whose disability is not necessarily to spot as a wheelchair. Not to say that wheelchair users don't suffer from public shaming as well. The government is saying that these measures are necessary to balance the sheet. They are happy to go and take support from the most vulnerable. that criteria are being stricter and so much money is already wasted because of 9 people sick on families and the sick people are here. Disabled people are only one of the categories that are being targeted by government to get welfare and scapegoat. While the government keeps stressing how necessary to resolve this is, I don't see them trying to get the money by going for a tax fraud, which accounts for 5.5 billion in lost revenue, or taxing the rich people who have more money than they could spend in a couple of lifetimes, and who may proportionally much less than the average taxpayer, because wealth is not taxed in the UK. I hope this is just the beginning of people as the local, the 90% of the population coming together in demand that we get the services and support that the 6th richest country in the world should be able to afford, and that we take back from those people who are making millions in profits, where their employees are universal credit and queuing in front of food banks. Enough is enough, and the only way out is together.
Yes!